All right, everyone, we are ready to get on with our next run. We have in here Junkyard Dave, who's going to be showing us Battle Kid Fortress of Peril. And if that doesn't sound scary enough, this is the any percent hard mode category that they're going for. Take it away, Junkyard Dave.
Thank you. So we're going to literally say, as like a preface here, we'll explain hard mode super quickly, because you have to go back to the title anyway, because I was in the middle of the game. But we don't really know how to run this game and talk at the same time, so it's going to be an interesting challenge for me. But basically what hard mode is we have a 50 life limit. So if you're playing this game on easy, you get double damage. Normal, there's infinite. We have hard, which is 50 life limit. We have 20, and we have no continues. So end goal for me is to one day run this deathless, but if we are ready, we can just jump in and I can start. So maybe let me know, but otherwise, yeah.
Oh, I think we're ready to go whenever. Just count us down and we'll start the timer.
Cool. So time starts basically when this guy can move. So there's going to be a little cutscene. I'll just say time or whatever, and we can start. So I don't know how to say like 3, 2, 1, but we'll say. Okay.
Yep, just go whenever you feel comfortable.
Okay, go. So that's first movement. This is the tricky part, talking and playing this game. If you're unfamiliar with Battle Kid is kind of like a homebrew platformer. It came out in 2010, I believe. It might have been 2007, I honestly don't know which one. It is notoriously difficult, and I have, I think, the blood in my brain to talk or to play this game. So as I said, trying to figure out how to explain both of these things is probably not possible. But what makes this game super difficult is literally shot KO. There's no life bar, there's nothing like that. And most of these rooms don't really have checkpoints. These things are the checkpoints, but you have to go through like maybe like 20 screens on average, I would say, before you kind of hit another checkpoint. And if you die at any point in time, there's no like half level things or anything like that. You just have to go all the way back. So it's pretty rough. It's very unforgiving, I think, in a marathon setting. So shoutouts to Strizer and the Game Over Cancer crew for believing in me. I do appreciate that. But it's a fun one. It's just, again, very scary. So normally there is a snail coming up here. I will respect, or actually it's an eyeball. I will respect the eyeball. Normally there's an extremely hard strat that you go for, but in a marathon setting we're going to respect that one a little bit, and there's a difficult jump here. Okay. Whew. Okay, that one's a little bit scary too. So the only thing that's, I would say, kind of tricky about the beginning of this run in a marathon setting is if you die, you literally lose close to like 3 minutes, which destroys any kind of estimate. Normally, when I'm running this, I skip basically like the first 17 minutes of checkpoints. So I feel comfortable up until about 17 minutes in that we're not gonna die. In a marathon setting, we don't feel that brave yet. So I only learned this one in January. So you'll see me backtracking a little bit to grab checkpoints here and there. But so actually we don't need to grab that one. Coming up here, there's a different one. So that plant boss was the first boss. The hardest thing in this game, I think, if you're running it, is not necessarily kind of like the strats, because there's a lot of hard strats, and we have to be really awkward here and grab this one. But there's a lot of hard strats. The hardest thing in this game is kind of like a cross between I Want to Be the Guy and Mega Man. And it has a shared Mega Man physics. Okay, that's why we say there. It has shared Mega Man physics in the sense that you can only have 3 bullets on the screen at the same time. And if for whatever reason you try to shoot more, it won't obviously have more than 3, so you can only have 3. One of the hardest things legitimately in this game is making sure that you can shoot in patterns of 3. And I would say the second hardest thing in this game is just remembering the rooms. The rooms in this game, there's like something like 550 screens. There is absolutely no way to to run this game without remembering like 550 screens, like what's coming up. So you don't see all of them in any percent, but there is quite a few that you see. and every room is kind of like fixed in terms of like the patterns that you're gonna get and stuff like that. Okay, that's the hard shot. You'll probably notice I'll get a little bit quiet when it comes to thinking about like certain things. But like one of the biggest things that's like super annoying in this run is a lot of it you're holding left to right and then you're doing the kind of like the run and gun thing. But a lot of it you actually have to like brush up against the side of a wall or you have to delay yourself very slightly and you break that momentum. So you have to like constantly be thinking about, okay, like am I supposed to run or am I supposed to like not run here? And it's pretty uncomfortable. So for, again, marathon's sake, we're gonna grab this one. I actually kind of have to think about like the checkpoints and like where to go because very often, like as I said, like I skip like the first 17 minutes of checkpoints, but if I die towards the end of this one and I am not at a checkpoint yet, like I'm probably gonna lose close to like 5 minutes. So I am ashamed to say I have no idea kind of what is going on in this story. I should probably learn that one day. But when it comes to the story, I actually don't know for kind of a good reason, and that's because there's basically two categories in this game. There's 100% and then there's any percent. So we do any percent, which means that we skip some stuff, and 100% you basically get like the true ending, very similar to like a bunch of NES games and stuff. So we actually don't know what we're doing. We're a guy that shoots stuff, that's all I can tell you. That creates kind of like a hole in my commentary. But yeah, this is kind of a hard strat coming up. Okay, thank you. Those guys behave. Alright, checkpoint. We got it. So, all the bosses in this are pretty hard, I would say, like, strat-wise, but one of the ones that's coming up is an owl. And these are probably going to be, sorry, kind of awkward without a co-commentator. Because I do need
if you need me... If you need me to,
one sec, sorry. I need the audio for at least these rooms. There's like 6 rooms that I need the audio cues for. Okay, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, if you need me to take over and talk for a bit, just let me know.
Sure, you can say whatever you want to say. There's like 2 different spots that I just need audio. One's like blinking room and anything with like those Yoko blocks. Because I actually do some audio cues in this game. But all I was gonna say was this owl is probably like the freest boss if you've ever played this game. There's actually an unintentional, or maybe it's an intentional safe spot, which is right there, so you can just jump and shoot. Most people, I feel, casually kind of find that. But with the owl down, we're entering, well, we have to go back apparently for the safe spot, whatever. But we're gonna enter probably one of the hardest sections in my opinion, at least when it comes to the speedrun stuff. And there's like an underwater section that's coming up after you grab this key. And in my opinion, the strats in the underwater section are very difficult. They're actually difficult because I'm doing stuff that the record didn't do back then, and they're also just difficult in general. But getting to the water section is always kind of annoying. And like it actually plays really well in terms of water. Like you think water section, oh no. You become a little bit floaty, but otherwise that's about it. And the floatiness is, I think, to your advantage. That is a scary strat. That's like the only risk of death that I feel. Sorry. Okay, so there we go. In the previous section, that's like the only risk of death that I feel is a thing. Oh, so if you ever messed up a cycle, you can go in and out of the room like that. It's not ideal, but that's kind of like one way that you can make sure that you're always doing the proper strat. So the game is a little bit forgiving in that kind of way, but usually you don't get that opportunity, because usually if you mess up something like mid-cycle, that's it. You don't really have enough time to go back, you just have to adjust, and adjusting in this game is like super difficult. For comparison purposes, my girlfriend and I blind raced this a long time ago before we knew anything about it. And I have to think I skipped this. We took like 15 hours to beat this game, and we each died like 1,600 times or something like that. So my best time now is like 49 something or 47, and my lowest amount of deaths is 17. So we could, in theory, probably run it on very hard, but that's not as consistent. Although I'm doing pretty good here, so I'll knock on wood like super loudly. I just had that one super awkward death at the beginning. So coming up here is, I don't know exactly what it's called, but there's like a fortress that's coming up. This is one of the spots. If you want to say anything, feel free to. Otherwise I'll need the audio for like one of these sections kind of coming up soon. But
all right, I'm just going to remind everyone watching that this is, of course, a charity marathon that we're running. Everything's going towards the Canadian Cancer Society. We have just over $228 raised right now, and we're looking at a goal of $500 to start. Of course, by the end of the marathon, I'm expecting that number to have gone up considerably. So, exclamation point D to donate in the chat.
Awesome, thank you. It's a very good cause for sure. We lost our dad to cancer last year, so not a fun thing to experience if you don't have to. But so we're entering this thing here, and this is one of the harder sections in the entire game because you're starting to really combine. We're gonna allow this person to exist apparently. You're starting to combine rooms that you have to like intentionally wait and intentionally not wait. And this is the rooms that I need the audio for coming up. These ones. So I'm gonna be a little bit quiet here. These rooms are absolutely horrible if you die, because you literally lose at the end of it like 3 or 4 minutes. Well, maybe not that much, but the checkpoint and how long it takes to clear them again is rough.
And it looks like, are you good for commentating now, or
sorry?
do you still need audio? Do you still need audio, or can I chime in?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit longer. I need the audio.
Okay.
After this room, you can. Okay, you're good.
All right, it appears we got a couple of donations in from my last appeal there. We have Thiago, who donated $5 US, who said, "Glad I can catch up a bit of this charity. Thank you, Strizer, for putting this on again. Good luck to Dave. This game is not flaccid." So they wish you good luck. Thiago, if you'd like to put your donation towards any of our incentive, go ahead and let us know in chat. And we also just got one come in from JW Roflo. Hope I pronounced that correctly. And they gave $25 US. No message attached to that, but if you would like to put that towards any incentive, once again, let us know in the chat, exclamation point I, to see what incentives we have. We do have a bid war going on for actually my game later tonight, Dadish. So it's Dadish versus Possum. And we also have a Save versus Kill Sid bid war for Final Fantasy VI tomorrow.
I've seen that Dadish game before, actually. It's silly.
I'm pretty happy to be bringing it to GOC and trying to do the bid war thing. So
okay, I will try to stop dying. I did this twice now. Okay, We just have to kill this guy. Okay. I was gonna say, I confused rooms. There's a room coming up later that you have to like brush up against the side. Okay, we're free. My goodness. So we died there twice.
Also, I got a pronunciation guide in the chat. It is J-Dub, aka Drowflow.
Yes. So it's a really good guy.
The page that I'm reading all the donations from does not have any capitalization on it, so it is, or in fact, it's all capitalized, so I couldn't see where the words were separated at that time.
Dead! Oh! So a long time ago, we held. Oh, one sec. These rooms are so horrible. Oh. Alright, man. Can we get a collective sigh in chat? Like, we're done with those rooms for a little bit. They're rough, man. Okay. So, we have this boss. She actually gave me the best pattern. And I'll try to explain her after. Oh! Okay. So she has one of 6 different patterns, as you can kind of see on the colors on the wall. The only thing that's true about her is she cannot call the same pattern twice, but she is extremely random. She's the first extremely random RNG boss, and there's just nothing. So you really want her to call pink the first time. That went okay. You can kill her in 2 cycles. I killed her in 3, so that wasn't as ideal. But she didn't give me a pattern that was good. Well, I guess it was okay, but I need to remember here coming out that we need to go visit this room coming up. Otherwise, we lose like 5 minutes later on. So there's a couple of rooms. We did it in the previous run. This one, you have to go into this portal thing and exit really quickly, and the game just kind of remembers that you exited that room. And later on, there's like a warp thing where you have to kind of warp back, and we're going the completely wrong way. So here we go. I always have to think twice about this part too, because this part coming up is a little bit weird because the game forces you to backtrack, so I have to think we have to go left first before we go right. So we're not gonna go right here, we're gonna go left. Nope, we're actually not. We're gonna die in that spike apparently. We actually do have to go right. I swear. One day my brain will remember this. So we need to go right here. So we come down this way. And apparently die again. So the scary part is deaths are limited in this game, as I was saying, based on the category that you choose. There's no reason to run this game not on normal when you're learning it. Because at that point, you're obviously just putting like a self-imposed limit on yourself. These are the water sections that I was talking about earlier. After this checkpoint, sure, let's do that. After this checkpoint coming up, there is a series of like 5 really difficult strats. We'll try to do some of them. So this is the first one. This one is not in the record. Oh, okay. So we'll probably skip it after. But that's one of the ones. We'll try one more time. I believe in myself. Yo, let's go! So that's not in the record. That's really difficult to do. It is not a good strat at all, especially in, again, like a marathon setting. This is not in the record where they jump over immediately and they spike. And we died like a fool! How'd that work for nothing, man? Okay, so we're gonna start to take the safe route, I guess. This is called karma. This is what you do when you fail record strats. Okay, so anyway. Get down there. Okay, so coming up here. Okay, so there's a couple weird rooms here. This one is kind of strange. Okay, you can accidentally get stuck on that wall pretty easily. So there's a checkpoint up here that normally I still grab, so this one's not really a marathon way, because coming up here there's again two really difficult strats. But the record way is very different from how I kind of like rerouted it. And they are, again, probably somewhat uncomfortable, because the record spawns these things twice. Okay, well, we're doing it this way. And then it shoots that ball, so we're able to get the ball one. Nice. Well, I guess we get to do it again. This is what I mean. This water section in this particular spot is awful. If there is one area that, from learning this originally, I have consistently struggled with, it's this one water section, and even then, like, it's just so easy to die here and waste so much time. So those two strats went as according to plan. Hopefully we can not die again trying to leave this water section. And we're coming up to one of the last strats that is not in the record right now, which is the skip right here. Oh, okay, we got it. And that concludes this section, which is very terrifying, I think. But we're entering Frog Palace or Frog Tower or something. And it's named that because its tower has a bunch of frogs in it. So the frog enemies are pretty annoying. They're actually pretty scary with their hop patterns and how they can get in your way. They're easily probably the second worst enemy behind those clams in my opinion. But a lot of these rooms are very specific in terms of how you have to shoot the frogs ahead of time, otherwise you will instantly die. And the frogs will absolutely get in your face. And we have kind of a really hard strat coming up here too. This is actually another strat that's not in the record, so we'll try for it, but it's scary because it comes later on past all these rooms, right at the very end. Oop. This might be the most unforgettable room for me. I just never remember that room exists. Yeah, after all this, there is basically a skip with some really fast enemies that just have a couple frames, I believe, to do. So let's see if we can get that, because it's in 2 rooms from here. So this is the first one. Nope, that wouldn't have worked. Okay, it's not gonna work. So we'll do the backup shot. So you can land on this platform and you can skip those entire enemies before they hit you without stopping at all. And that actually saves a couple of seconds, but it's again very tricky to do. And coming up here, we have a snake boss that's coming up. Can you activate those? Thank you. And the snake boss is... okay, one second. There's again a very specific way to do that room, and you need the audio. Pretty much anything with those Yoku blocks, you need the audio for it. Yeah, so Frog Tower went okay, we didn't die like a chump. There's again a snake boss coming up. And the snake boss is the only boss that in the entire game, I guess like he's more of a dragon or something, I don't know. But he's the only boss in the entire game that's completely scripted. So start to finish, he'll always have the same pattern here. And he starts recycling the pattern after these shots. So he'll always shoot this ball, he'll always come up this way. And this is the only boss, again, that follows a script. All the other bosses have some elements of RNG. Some more terribly than others, but this guy is pretty simple. He never changes, so there's at least that. It's a nice break, honestly. And there we go. So in terms of story, there's 4 bosses we killed. We have a couple of bosses left. Basically 2 in any percent. So we'll grab that checkpoint, and we will exit. Funny enough, the exit here, you have to kill that thing on the roof, otherwise you cannot go through that room. And then on top of that too, there's a 2-frame window that I wish that I would be... Oh wait, that would have killed me. That I am always tempted to go for in like a no reset or marathon set. Okay, thank you, Crushers. But we're gonna avoid that. Okay, Crushers, thank you again. Thank you. But this frog at the very top here, there's a 2-frame window that you can skip him and you don't have to wait on the side right here. So I'm always kind of tempted to try to go for that, but we'll respect the frog too. He's, in my opinion, the scariest enemy in this entire game. So coming up, we have this section where we need to go back through the water, and this time we go left, I believe. Savak, help me, man! So Savak is actually the creator of this game. He could probably commentate it a lot better than me.
Do you have time for another donation?
Yes.
Yeah, so we got one from, I'm going to assume this is Bass Guy, or could be Bass Guy, I suppose, who gives 20 US dollars. They say, happy to support a good cause. Hey Dave, what's the best game you can name? Why, it's the good old hockey game. No incentive listed for that, but if you'd like that money to go towards one of the incentives, exclamation point I in the chat. Thank you very much for that donation.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, Bass Guy, you can literally see he's got an emote in chat. It is Bass Guy, but a lot of people say Bass Guy, so he has that emote of like the singing bass, which I always thought was really good. So yeah, we have a section here. If you want to say anything, this section is just kind of like running through a maze as like a hamster. This is a great time if you want to pitch anything else or say anything else. There's an adequate amount of times for donations here for maybe another minute or whatever thing you want to talk about.
I'll just use this time to remind everyone that we do have some prizes up for grabs. Anyone who gives a donation or donations totaling $5 or more is put in a raffle draw to win one of 3 Steam keys. And anyone who gives a total of $10 or more is put into a raffle draw to win a GameCube controller with the Game Over Cancer branding on it, as well as a Resident Evil 4 remake key. So that'll be pretty interesting. As for the marathon itself, right now we're watching, of course, Junkyard Dave play through Battle Kid Fortress of Peril. Tonight, we're also going to be treated to some Super Mario 3D World, a run of Dadish, and Super Metroid Vitality, and that'll be day 2 of Game Over Cancer. We're doing this all week long up until Sunday night, so keep those donations coming in.
Thank you. I'm terrified. What am I doing? I don't have to do that. I am terrified because I don't know if I got a checkpoint or not. So I guess we'll figure that out. Because if I die, I have to go through that entire maze thing again. But yeah, to answer that question, in Escape Plan, Savak is the developer. He kind of answered it. But I assume the intention was because at some point you have like an oxygen meter to basically prevent like sequence breaking. Because you have to go and you have to get a key later on. And I need see think of where I'm going now. Because I didn't want to come back up here to save exactly. Oh no. Now we go left. So okay, sorry. I only came back up here to save just in case I didn't save, because I was listening to what you were talking about. So anyway, we keep going left this way.
Yeah, it has been going by pretty quickly, but you have an inventory right now with 3 items, and I believe the most recent item is an O2 tank.
Correct.
Is that what it? Yeah, so that's why now whenever you go in the water, there's no longer a timer that activates.
That is correct, yeah. So I'm assuming that whole maze section was there to prevent sequence breaking, because originally you could just go and probably grab a key where you're not supposed to. But Sabak can correct me if I'm wrong, because I wasn't the person that obviously made this game, he was. But the logic behind that makes sense, because otherwise if you could collect that key earlier, then you could probably sequence break. And later on, there is an oxygen skip, which is very scary to do. It's, in my opinion, the scariest part of the entire run. But you basically skip a section because the game takes away all your items, which I was a fan of. I guess maybe some people casually didn't enjoy that very much, but I always thought it was like a great kind of like slap in the face. Because you go through this game casually and you literally feel like borderline defeated towards the end. Like it requires a lot of energy. And right towards the very end, after you do all of this stuff, the game takes away all of your power-ups and all of your items, and you're just like, oh man. Like, I can't believe it did that. Oh, that was wrong. Okay, we respected that guy a little bit too much. Woo, that was close to. Sabak is a really good guy. He streams randomly on Twitch, but as I said, he is the developer of this game.
In the chat, he says, Mega Man does boss refights, I do item recollection.
There you go. Yeah, it was a very cruel thing, but I liked it a lot, so... I have said many times, he's randomly watched me stream before I run this game and learned it, that honestly I'm okay with like everything in this game. If I could take out one thing this game that I have died so many times on, it's these clam enemies. Everything else I'm okay with, but clams were kind of like the big jerk enemy to me. I was okay with my items being stolen at the end of the game. If I could remove the clams, I would remove the clams.
I'm now expecting a patch that will add more clams to the game.
Possible. So this is a very tight window. You have to float down that very, very narrowly. Ooh, we actually got him. 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna jinx myself. So far this water section is going okay. Which means of course we're gonna die. Okay, we made it. It's kind of tricky because like I have to think of where to go and where not to go because I'm not used to grabbing some of these checkpoints. Oh boy, that was awkward. Okay, that was my fault. I was completely out of rhythm there. Decent enough. I have to remember here to save. One thing about the checkpoints in this game is they don't record your boss progress until after you beat the boss and then save. So I remember one of these times I came here, got like this double jump or high jump or whatever it is. I just ran out of here and then I died, and you have to refight the boss. So I was like, oh, okay. So, especially in a marathon setting, I don't want to refight that boss again. So we will happily save and then leave. Oh, okay. See? That's why we saved. So we're leaving here. The goal of here is to go to like some kind of like crystal cavern spot. Honestly, in my opinion, I didn't believe in myself there. In my opinion, the next area is one of the more fun parts in the entire game. I like everything kind of like about its aesthetic. I like everything about the platforming. So we just have to get out of the water section. And the backtracking through the water section, I feel, is a little bit difficult coming back, even with this double jump. Although it does make some of the sections easier. Mainly the first part. I think like this first water section, it makes it easier. But the second part, going through it originally, is still pretty tricky with the double jump. And some of the strats you have to do. Oop, that was awkward. That was also awkward. We did the thing. We didn't die. So I think we're at less than 10 deaths right now, which is pretty good by my standard. A lot of my deaths in this are starting to come from everywhere that involves water, so there's a common theme I'm sensing. So we probably didn't need to get that other save state when that one's so close, but there is kind of like an awkward strat coming up. There is a jump. Actually, you know what? There isn't a jump yet. It's after. So we probably didn't need that save point at all, because we could actually go this way and then fall down. And there's a save point right after this area, so. So yeah, this is, again, Sadak can correct me, it's just like a crystal area. A lot of instant death in this spot, and we have these new enemies where if they shoot 3 times and you kill them, they kind of like spit a bullet out at you. It is entirely possible to get through all of these sections without obviously having to wait. Okay, that was a little bit awkward. And we have the ability to float and shoot down at the same time now, which allows us to get rid of those things a little bit easier. If you can run through this entire section without dying, I honestly feel like this is like really, really nice platforming in this game. I like how all of these rooms kind of like mix with each other and how everything feels when you're going through in a speedrun sense. But okay. It's a good section so far. So we come back up here, we grab another key, and we will save just in case again. Whoa, that was close. Thank you. That was awkward too. So we're entering close to like one of the bosses coming up. And she has a lot of RNG, but at the same time, it's at least kind of like really predictable. And she, oh boy, that was close. I can't believe I saved that. I jumped when I shouldn't have jumped. So one sec here, this audio. Oh, okay. So we are gonna fight this like Valkyrie kind of boss. I have her named what my girlfriend named her on my splits. Probably not appropriate to mention it, but basically she has a bunch of different patterns. She basically has like 2 different ground patterns and 2 different air patterns. Ironically, the ones that come down at you I would consider the bad RNG. When she's up in the air, it doesn't really matter. She'll shoot either kind of like a wave of these shards at you, or she'll also shoot them in like a very predictable way. So this is the pattern we want to see from her. If she's on the left side, they'll come from the right. If she's on the right side, they'll come from the left. So the patterns actually do matter. Or sorry, her position does matter for the patterns. So she's kind of being a weirdo with this one. Okay, she got me. But yeah, she's being a weirdo with that one. So doing this boss quickly is kind of hard, honestly, because there's a lot of pattern recognition there, which I was just going to say we're nailing, of course. But you have to be very astute in if she's spawning stuff from the right or left side. So she just refuses to give me the other one. She just wants to spawn these over and over in my face. So it's actually extremely bad RNG every single time so far from her. Okay, that's the other one that we finally saw like 3 bosses later. Or 3 boss attempts later. I would consider that like the good RNG when she's up in the air. And... no, dude, you just refuse. Like, literally. I've never seen her so stubborn before. Okay, we killed her. She was a bit of a struggle. That's why she's named on my splits normally when I stream. But exactly, like it was all undesirable. So if I were to save in a marathon setting, that's probably the only save that I would save is necessary, because you go through all of this entire section coming back up here, and we have to go back to kind of like a teleporter room, and we're gonna encounter the final boss. If this one jump wasn't here, I would say it's kind of free. This jump is a little bit scary if you die, especially after not saving in any kind of capacity. So we are going to go down here, we're going to teleport to the 4th option, which will send us back to an area that we were before, and we'll go down here, and we'll go down here, and now that we have all the keys, we can enter in the final area. So the final area is a good final area. It pulls no punches. I actually quite like it because, as I said, it takes your items away pretty quickly here. So we'll save here. And I always have to think about a couple of these rooms coming up here. Oh, see, I thought, okay, we're not thinking hard enough. I thought that was like the lime room, but we wait here, so. Okay. So that was a great start to this section. So these sections, I feel, really make you work for save points. Like, they're actually very, very, very difficult to figure out, I think, casually. Okay, so that's the first one. I really like this area, and as I said, like once it takes your items away, I really like that at the end too. Because I literally have never felt like deflated playing a video game before. But deflated in a good way, like, oh man, I can't believe it's almost finally over. And then you get punched in the face like that, I thought was a great feeling, so. But I massively enjoyed this casually. And luckily, we're almost done with the blinking rooms for the rest of the game. Okay. Oh, I can't believe he got me after all that, man. Well, I guess we're not done with the blinking rooms. For the rest of the game, we get to go back. Like, the checkpoint is literally after that room, but this shows again the amazing part of checkpoints in this game, because they really are scary. Oh, God, I didn't draw properly. So that was an unfortunately bad death. A lot of the deaths in this game, like, by default are bad. It's got a very generous kind of, like, checkpoint system if you go back there. But, like, in a marathon setting, like, you literally lose, like, minutes at a time sometimes if you die. So it's a very kind of sketchy game in a marathon setting. constantly get underestimated. It's funny the rooms you die on. Because I would say everything up until that other room was way harder than that room that I just died on. So that's all we had to do. No, we had to like simply just die in some really weird way. Sorry, I guess there's that room. I forgot about that room. So, we're in another underwater section. And coming up here, we're actually gonna play it safe. There is a ridiculous strat that you can do in this screen that I just left, but we'll try not to die here any more than we need to. Worst room in the entire game for me is this one right here, with the clams, the double clams actually. And this is a very scary room too. You cannot double jump more than once, so once you're floating down, you have to commit to shooting those things 3 times, otherwise, yeah, you just don't. So yeah, we have our inventory stolen, and we need to basically do 3 trials to get our stuff back. You can get oxygen first. This, in my opinion, is the scariest part of the speedrun. There is basically like an infinite oxygen skip, so we're doing this section first, and this is honestly terrifying even on like random streams when I'm streaming this. It involves, one second here, I think 4 2-frame jumps in a row. So that's 2. And then you have to do 2 coming back. So here, we kind of go out of order. We obviously grab the higher jump. Coming back, we need to make those 2-frame jumps again. And by the time we come back through the water section, we'll have about 10 seconds left on our bar. Whew, okay. I can't believe... Dude, that's like such a stationary block. Why? We were free! Oh man. Like, hard part easy, easy part hard. Oh man. Well, who likes 2-frame skips again? Okay, well... okay. This is it. Yeah, this is like absolutely the most terrifying spot in the entire game to me. Oh, we have a god. Spiriax is so good at this. I'm not worthy in his presence. Maybe one day we can beat... Well, actually, no, I'm not even gonna say that. We can beat Sidetracked. We'll go on the record. One day I will bop Sidetracked. We will beat Sidetracked. But I'll always be behind Rich and Spiriax. It's just not gonna happen. They're so godly at this game. I can't believe I didn't die there again. What am I doing? What am I doing, man? I have no idea what the hell I just did there. We... What? Go, guy, go! We weren't supposed to delay. Okay, we're fine. We got out of there with no oxygen. Like, Okay. Okay, I have no idea what I did there. So we're at 18 deaths so far, that's not too bad. So luckily the rest of these rooms I would say are easier than the previous room. We will take this super slow. There is a fast strat that you can do here that's actually considerably hard. And yeah, the last two trial areas I would say are easier than the water section for sure. Apparently we forgot that room existed. Nope! Oh my goodness, we saved each other. Okay. I forgot that fan existed too. There we go. Okay, in the last section, I just have to remember, we're gonna go get the feather here. I always forget that I don't have the feather yet. I keep trying to use the feather. Oh, how did we live? Okay. That was a legendary save. Yeah, I always forget that we don't have the feather yet, so I have to remember we do not have the feather for this jump. But we do have the feather coming back for this jump, so... Sure. I messed up. You can run through those guys. Okay, we're approaching the final two bosses here. The first guy, he has a bunch of patterns too. You basically don't want him to freeze, which is of course immediately he freezes the screen. So, okay, he's gonna freeze every single pattern now. But you basically want him to summon orbs, which of course he's not gonna do. You're gonna freeze again? Dude, of course you are! Why would you not? 4 out of 4! Okay, so this is the pattern that you want him to summon. It gives you a chance to obviously shoot him instead of being frozen in the air over and over and over again. That's too low, I'm dead. Rip. You're welcome, Sabak. Alright, so he tried to give us good RNG there. We messed up everything at the end. Awkward. Okay. I was out of position again when he summoned that. Okay, can you please stop freezing stuff? Dude, yes. Okay, well he's dead. But yes, like, that's for real. He doesn't want to give any kind of good RNG. So we're approaching the final boss. There is one little threat towards the final boss. It's like a lone jelly or something like that. If you die on this slime, you have to repeat that section. So we're gonna very carefully at a marathon setting respect that slime. And then we can go save here. This is the final boss coming up. He is very, very RNG heavy, and as you can kind of see, he has flashing lights. So once he's dead, he'll be kind of flashy, so forewarning. But basically, I don't know how many patterns he has, it's like 5 or something. But they're all RNG, and the only thing that's true about him is he cannot call the same pattern twice. It's always going to be something and then something else. So he has a screen, okay, that was awkward. He has a screen attack that he hasn't called yet actually. But basically this guy is like down to the frame RNG. So you have to react constantly to the pattern he's giving you. Oh, that was my fault. fell off the platform there. That was 100% preventable. This platform is like your saving grace. You do a lot of work from the platform up here. So this is a screen attack that... This is awkward. I did that backwards. Yeah, you don't want to fall off that platform. So he's actually trying to give me good RNG, like every second pattern that he's giving me is like basically that miss out. But he's like, Dave, I know you died a lot in this run. I'm trying to help you out, but you keep falling off the platform. Okay, we got him. So, timing ends technically after you fall down this kind of like open corridor, and then you run out the door to like the top part of the land. But there's no other threat that can kill us, so for all intents and purposes, we beat the game. This is a very scary one in a marathon setting. A lot can go bad. We're gonna be slightly overestimate by the time that we get out of this door. It's gonna be like 55, 40 or something like that. But in general, I think I put the estimate as 55, so that's not too bad. But beating this game in an hour is something that is incredibly difficult, so 55-41 seems to be the final time.
All right. GG on that. We got some GGs already coming in to the chat.
It's a pretty ridiculous one, and the only thing I'll say before I get out of here, guys, is hair is like, thank you again, Strizer and Game Over Cancer. I appreciate the opportunity to show it off, but especially Strizer in particular, because I submitted hard mode and I submitted an estimate for 55 minutes before I knew that I could beat this game in 55 minutes. Also, before I knew that I could beat hard mode. So Strizer had a lot of faith in me accepting this one.
Well, from everyone who came out to watch, I think a lot of people had faith in you finishing this game. So thanks very much for showing up as you did.
No, I definitely appreciate that. And thanks again for having me.
All right. We're going to keep this marathon moving on. Coming up in just a few moments, we've got Mark Alarm, who's going to be showing off the Mario 3D World Any %. So stay tuned, everyone. We have a lot more Game Over Cancer left. Get those donations in. We got a big week ahead of us.